Hey guys, it's Oreos here, and I'm going to explain how to get the Eye in the Sky achievement for the newly released banned footage DLC in Resident Evil 7 on Xbox Live. This achievement requires you to complete and beat the 21 VHS tape on normal difficulty. I won't be talking completely through the guide because it is a little bit lengthy, but I will interject at certain points to give necessary information. And before we go any further, this guide will contain spoilers for this DLC. Alright, moving on to actual gameplay, you have to play 3 rounds of the card game Blackjack, or as it's also called, 21. I'll explain the rules before we get further into the game though. You start out each hand by drawing a face down card and a face up card. The whole point of the game is to get your card's added total as close to 21 as possible, or exactly 21. If your opponent has a closer total than you do, you lose the round, and vice versa. If you tie, it's a throwaway round. Now, this version of Blackjack is a little bit different than regular. You and Hoffman share one deck with cards numbered 1 through 11 with no duplicates. So if Hoffman draws the card 11, you cannot draw that card on that hand. Keep that in mind when you're trying to do math if you're trying to count the cards. You can also earn trump cards which give you bonuses in game, for example, drawing a certain card number or increasing your opponent's bet. I have an example of the game running in the background for demonstration. If anybody needs the visual explanation, it's there. Okay, so betting works a little bit differently in this as well, and I'll explain each of the different bet types. First, you'll be using your fingers as betting chips. I know, it's a little fucked up. You lose the round, you lose your finger. You win the round, Hoffman loses his finger. Every hand that gets played, the bet increases. So say I lose the first round, I lose 1 finger. I lose the second round, I lose 2 more fingers. If Hoffman lost the third round, he would lose 3 fingers. And it keeps going until you either lose all of your fingers or Hoffman loses all of his fingers and you win that round.
Now you'll let me go, right?
The next type of bet is the electric shock bet. You have a scale of 1 to 10. If you get shocked to 10, you die and you lose. It works the same as before with the fingers. You just have to get Hoffman to 10 points this time instead of only 5. Every hand drawn increases the value of the shock. You can also tell how much a hand is worth by the red number above the shock gauge. The last and final bet works a little bit differently than the last two. Here you are playing for distance. The same basis as the other 2 bets still apply here though. Each hand increases the bet the more you play. The difference is every time you lose, the saw gets closer to you and further from Hoffman, vice versa. You want to win hands back to back to get the saw over to Hoffman's side to trigger the final hand that you will play. The final hand you will play is triggered once Hoffman says the dialogue currently on the screen. This is where things get a little tricky, and I actually mess it up on my first attempt. Hoffman will play a set of trump cards that increases the bet to 100, makes it so you can't draw any cards, and Hoffman draws a perfect set of 21 cards. You will need to play the Love Your Enemy trump card to counter this, making Hoffman go over 21 points and making him lose. This is the end of the DLC, and your achievement will pop once you return to the main menu screen. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and I will see you next time.
Hey, what the hell? I'm gonna stay. Son of a... I'm ending this. No, 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 We're done now, right? Will you let me go now?
You are one cold son of a bitch! Now you impress me so much, I'm gonna give you an extra reward. We gonna play another game, you and me. Oh, ain't life grand?
No! take this anymore. Please.